What if I told you, you are part of the problem?
We need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost.
The moment you choose a side, you stop listening. Not because the truth disappeared, but because your identity took over. You're no longer defending facts, you're defending who you think you are. And while you're busy being right, someone else is deciding what you believe. Look around. The world is louder than ever, yet nobody is really listening. Everywhere you look, it's sides versus sides. Left versus right, black versus white, belief versus belief, country versus country, team versus team. And the moment you pick one, everything on the other side becomes wrong, evil, stupid, dangerous, or not worth hearing. That's how it starts. One headline, one clip, one moment that hits something inside you, and without realizing it, thinking is replaced by reaction. Ask yourself this: is this really your opinion, or is it something you picked up along the way? You say you hate manipulation, yet you let headlines decide how you feel. You say you think for yourself, yet your opinions arrive pre-packaged, perfectly aligned with whatever side you picked. Because once belief becomes emotional, logic no longer leads the conversation. From that moment on, you stop caring about what's true. You only care about being right.
I'm right, you're wrong.
You are wrong.
But
And then there's the media. Why do you think the same stories keep showing up? Because outrage keeps you watching. Fear keeps you scrolling. By the time the truth comes out, the damage is already done. You heard it. You felt it. The message has already spread. And when something is repeated often enough, loudly enough, it becomes part of who you are. Not because you looked into it, but because you saw it everywhere. Around the world, politics is no longer about disagreement. It has turned into two opposing worlds. Every issue gets dragged into the same fight. No matter what the topic is, the conclusion is ready before the discussion starts. And the louder it gets, the less anyone actually explains anything. The media doesn't slow this down. It speeds it up. So people stop looking upward at systems, incentives, power. They look sideways at each other. And as long as everyone is busy fighting left versus right, no one notices who's never part of the argument at all. Wars prove this better than anything. Think about the Iraq War. The headline was clear: weapons of mass destruction. Everyone knew who the enemy was supposed to be. And in the end, no weapons of mass destruction were found. The people who died didn't come back. The region never recovered. And today, the same pattern repeats. Conflicts are reduced to a single story. One villain, one clear narrative. Everything that happened before the war fades away. And civilians are only noticed when their suffering helps people emotionally commit. Once you choose, you stop asking what led here. You defend, and that's exactly how narratives gain control.
We need war, Ben 10. That's right. It gives people something to blame their problems on. If there were no war, they'd blame us for all that.
So when violence comes from your side, it gets explained away. Deaths are justified. Cruelty is excused, as if your own side never lies, as if it always tells the full story. The same happened in other countries. The same happens everywhere. We rarely ask why countries become what they are. We don't ask what led them there. We don't ask who benefited. We just hate together. Russia invades Ukraine, and instantly sides are chosen. And I'm not saying anyone is good. I'm saying there are no winners, only losers. And those losers are the people. Wars don't start in a vacuum. Agreements were broken. Interests were already colliding. That part rarely makes the news. There's a country that does whatever it wants. It ignores everyone, attacks when it decides it has a good reason, and moves on. After those attacks, people are traumatized, the country is destroyed, the economy is beyond repair, resources get taken, lives get ruined, and then the world stops caring. And you support this. Think about that. If an enemy did the exact same thing, it would be called terrorism. There would be sanctions, embargoes, condemnations. But because it's your side, it suddenly gets excuses. And you keep falling for it. That's not intelligence. That's blind loyalty. Pathetic. Yes, I said it. And somehow, you still think you're the smart one. Israel and Palestine, a conflict that has lasted for decades. Entire families erased, children growing up under bombs, lives reduced to numbers, mostly in Gaza. At the same time, people around the world, including groups in Israel, protest this violence and refuse to stand behind it. So why is the answer always violence? And why are these answers defended so aggressively, as if there's always an excuse? You're told to choose a side and defend it, no matter the cost. But is this really about solving the conflict, or about making sure it never ends? At first, it feels like understanding. You pick the explanation that matches your feelings. You follow the people who confirm it, so you accept it. And when new information appears, information that doesn't fit, you don't change your mind. Not because you didn't see it, but because changing would mean admitting you were wrong. And once that happens, truth is no longer the goal. This was never just about truth. Over time, that explanation becomes part of how you see the world. The same thinking shows up in religion. Every religion has something beautiful: community, meaning, moral structure. Watch how fast the story changes. When the attacker is Muslim, religion becomes the headline. When he's not, it's suddenly an individual case. That difference isn't accidental, but that's not analysis. That's permission. Permission to generalize, permission to dehumanize, permission to justify whatever comes next. Millions of Muslims who have nothing to do with violence are pulled into a story they never chose. And people fall for it, because the hate was already there. As long as we're divided, there will always be sides, because sides are useful. Sides create crowds. Crowds justify decisions. And you keep falling for it, again and again and again. We've turned into labels. You're no longer a person. You're a side. And once you're fanatical, once hate drives your thinking, you already lost, even if you think you won. Because living with that much anger, that much division is not strength, it's control. We are billions of people with different cultures, different stories and different lives. But inside, we're more alike than we want to admit. And still, we choose hate. So ask yourself this honestly. Who benefits from you choosing a side? Because the moment you do, you stop listening, you stop questioning, and someone else takes the wheel. I don't stand with left or right. I don't stand with countries, politicians, or headlines. I stand with people. And maybe that's the only side that never asks you to hate.